On this episode of Grape Street TV, we gonna jump back into the reaction of, after the Peachtree and Watts ended, the war started. This will be a war that'll never be forgotten, and that's facts. And like I always say, this ain't no research from the internet. These are all self-experiences. So if you ain't hit that like or that subscribe button yet, then that's what you need to be doing. But if not, y'all already know the deal with me, man. I'ma bust y'all across y'all head with some knowledge every time, man, straight up. And make sure y'all hit that bell for all notifications. So when I drop these reactions right here, they pop up on your timeline like the chicken pox. Boop, 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 boop. Y'all already know the deal with me, man. Listen, tap in. So we gonna pick up on where we left off at. How, the police didn't like what was going on. How we came together as one. And, they start setting us up to go to war by, going in different hoods and sending shots. So we all know they don't want to see us as one. So they put a lot of effort into it because they designed the gang injunction, like I was saying in part 1, to where you couldn't hang with your family members, you couldn't hang with your friends, none of your childhood friends, especially if you guys grew up in that same community. And, one person was considered a gangbanger. If you was talking and hanging with them, the police will pull up and take, both of y'all to the police station. And you might not even be a gangbanger, but they gonna label you a gangbanger and, give you a jacket. So yeah, they try to push the culture into a corner, They set it up to where everybody was going back to war. And, they had confidential informants and snitches and people that caught cases within this time, Everybody was running around freelancing because it wasn't no beef in the street. So a lot of people caught cases. And a lot of people turn state evidence. So due to the little program they set it up within themselves to try to Operation Shut the Streets Down, a lot of people lost their lives, like we said in part 1, and a lot of people got life and double life and things like that, like crazy numbers. People was getting sentenced to like 200, 300 years. Like, who's gonna live 300 years? Come on now. Despite all the, friendships that we developed within the Peachtree, they system was still strong enough to break the streets and turn everybody back against each other. It was also times where, you will roll past or see people roll up and you'll see somebody that you was close friends with and you'll have to give each other the nod and keep going just to keep from knocking each other down. And also due to the Peachtree, you had a lot of people running around, and you got people that's no good, that's gonna bad talk they homies, talk behind their back, pillow talk to females, and females got the drop on the homies, or they think they got the drop or the wrong information, and this stuff is being stored into their neighborhood under your name database, giving you a jacket. Like, is you one of them boys, or is you a mark, or is you just around for nothing? And that's facts. So within that time, the police, they was winning the war. They was locking us up, and they was setting us up to go to war to knock each other down. And it took years for like my generation to realize what was going on. We just thought it was part of the game. And little did we know that, this been going on for decades, like way before we jumped off the porch. We've been having crooked cops in the, community, like such as Big Head, Ruckus, Peers. These are the type of police, gang officers that will get on the stand and lie on you and make it seem like you was this bad person. So like in those days, like you'll get caught for like a small possession of a firearm and it'll turn into something major due to, the gang ties. They'll try to give you like 10 for the gang and 2 for the gun, which, a charge that you'll get 2.5. It added up to 12 years all of a sudden. So while they was on their mission, to tear the community down, they was ripping fathers out of the households and leaving, kids fatherless to join the gang, grow up and want to be like they pops. Because 12 years, that's a long time with you going to jail and maybe your kid about 5, 6, 7 years old, and he a boy, you know, it's bound that he's gonna join your gang. So while a lot of us was locked up, you know, that fell victim to the system, like a lot of our sons and daughters, little brothers and cousins, you know, had jumped into the gang culture. So as we gained our knowledge and figured out what was going on and wasn't no good, and we was gonna come home and make a change, you know, our relatives, our folks, our peoples was knee deep into the gang culture. I remember being locked up, you know, and sitting in the cell with certain individuals, and they'll get caught out of their cell, and you know, they get bad news like their son got knocked down, their son got shot, and that made a lot of us that wanted to change want to come home and start a war. Basically, add on to the war that was already going on, you know, due to the hurt of losing a child. You can't tell a man, you know, to chill out and sit back and let God deal with it. You could do that to some individuals, but some people don't got that state of mind, so they gonna get out and get it cracking, and that's facts. And on top of all that, a lot of different individuals had kids by females, you know, from different sides of the tracks and different gangs, you know, and they went and did their time, and while they was doing their time and their kids was growing up, their kids was stuck in between where they had to choose between, you know, I want to be from my daddy's side or I want to be from my mama's side. So some people was coming home, you know, with their kid gangbanging on the other side of the tracks and really ain't got no say so on it because they part of the gang culture, and it's hard to, you know, grab a hold of a young dude that's been running wild without a father and raised by the streets. It has always been a war, but this is what made me say, after the peace treaty ended in Watts, that's when the war started, the real war, the out of control war, far as, you know, us having our kids, our little brothers and sisters involved in the culture, and people would take hits, and some of those hits couldn't be dealt with just without doing nothing. So they was, you know, setting us up, locking us up, and they was riding on us at the same time, because we can all remember all the innocent people that were shot within all projects in the hood surrounding Watts. Like, a lot of innocent people got shot by the police, and police, you know, got away with it and justified their shooting. And the cold-hearted part about the situation, like, a lot of people got sucked into the gang culture, farthest, you know, hanging around people, riding around in their cars, get seen by those people ops, and you get labeled like that boy from over there. And, you know, you get stopped by the police so many times with gangbangers, they label you as a gangbanger too, even though you're not. So that sucked a lot of other people into the gang culture, you know, getting, you know, shot at, getting shot, and end up joining the gang. And then you got the ones that got sucked into the culture, far as, you know, having somebody get killed in their family, far as their mother, their brother, their father, their cousin, you know, they want to join the gang and get revenge, and that's facts. And yeah, we're not putting the blame on the police about, you know, having a gang war within the streets with the gang culture, like, but they have a lot to do with it, like a lot of tricky setups, you know, setting people up to fail, like, you know, the juvenile systems, like, they don't do nothing but train you to go to prison. They just train you to go, and the streets train you to go, so it's all a go in the streets. And we can't forget about all the drug habits that people picked up from hanging in different hoods, and that's facts. Some people start snorting coke, some people start smoking dope, some people start smoking sherm. Like, drugs had a lot to do with the gang culture, you know, falling apart as well, and that's facts. With all that being said, this reaction has officially came to an end. So, you know, if you want a part 3, make sure you hop in them comments and say you want a part 3. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. Don't be no more. And make sure you don't join the gang culture, man. The gang culture is trash, and if you in it, try to find a way to get up out of it and do something right. Stay up, stay solid, and stay safe.
This is an OG crowd. I'm keeping it. OG.